Hi, I'm Derek Robinson. I'm a senior technical online course developer here at InterSystems, and I'm joined by Stefan Wittmann, product manager at InterSystems, to talk about InterSystems IRIS Cloud Document service. Stefan, thanks for taking the time.
Good morning, Derek. It's great to be here with you.
Yeah, likewise. So before we dive in and take a look at this service, can you give us a little bit of a 10,000-foot view of what the InterSystems IRIS Cloud Document service is and really who it's for?
Sure. InterSystems IRIS Cloud Documents is a service which allows you to store your data with a very flexible schema structure or documents in a collection as a managed cloud service. So this service allows you to expose the ingested data directly through SQL, making it really easy to query your data and incorporate it into your application.
Right, right. Nice. So kind of without further ado, maybe let's take a look. If you want to show us how this works a bit, we can jump into the UI and kind of get going with it.
Sure, absolutely. So first of all, you sign up at the InterSystems Cloud portal, and you can find us either through our AWS marketplace listings or the official InterSystems website at intersystems.com. And thereof, you sign up and make sure that you have an active subscription for the service that you're interested in. You can see here I have an active trial at this point for the InterSystems Iris Cloud Document service, but there's an ever-growing catalog of services where you can pick the service that is of interest to you from. Then, as soon as you've done this, you would actually create a deployment directly from here and pick all the options that you care about. Only the services that you subscribe to will show up. You select the deployment size, in this case only small because it's a trial. You need to make sure you understand whether you want to connect through external services to it, yes or no. You give it a password so that it's absolutely secured. And you pick the region you want to host this service in, and you give it a logical name, like demo, and then you're done.
Right. Nice. That's great. So, for people who have used our other services, should be a pretty familiar workflow for creating a deployment, which is good, kind of that familiar status there. So then now it looks like you already have one up and running that I assume you provisioned before. So diving into that, once you have this deployment provisioned, how do you actually go and get documents into this service?
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, you can take a look at the status of your service. Is your instance up and running? Is it in trouble? Do you want to start or stop it? And you get all additional details about it on this screen. The very first step you're probably going to do is you want to add data to your instance, and
Right.
the most simple way of doing this is by just providing data through a file. So in this case, I'm just going to pick a file I have locally on my system with some JSON data in it. It's about 2 MB with about 1,500 entries in it. You can always take a look at the content of the file if you want to make sure that it's actually the right one and it has the
Yep.
content that you care about. And once you've done this, you can import the content of that file into a collection. So the way how you do this is you just select the file that you've provided, and either you ingest it into a collection that's already present, or you create a new one. In this
Right.
case, since this is a fresh new service instance, we're going to pick a new collection and give it the name of inspection. Typically, you want to do a preview first and get an idea of what's inside that file.
Yep.
Is it really what you're expecting it to be? And it will tell you that right now your collection has 0 documents in it. And if you click the import button, it will insert 1,570 documents into this collection, which is looking good from my perspective. So let's click that import button. Once that's done, you can take a look at that collection and get an understanding of what it looks like. In this case, we will see we have exactly one collection now on this instance, obviously the one we've just populated, and you can start to go through the different IDs and get an idea of what your various documents actually look like.
Right. Right. Nice. That's great. It looks very straightforward. So, Kind of looking at the example you did here, just kind of by seeing what's in the preview there, I can tell this looks like it's some kind of car inspection data set. You basically upload a text file with JSON data in it. What other kinds of documents might you load here, and what maybe are some use cases that you see customers and clients or prospective users of this service uploading here as part of this document storage?
Yeah, good question. So, I mean, leveraging a document model is popular for applications where you keep evolving the data model, mostly by extending it all the time. It's also a first choice if your data naturally arrives in a dynamic data structure like JSON. Many of our clients in financial services, for example, they store their ticker data directly as
Okay.
documents within the database and then query them through SQL.
Right, right. Nice. So speaking of that, let's maybe take a look if you can show us how that querying through SQL looks. Now that we've kind of seen this, we've uploaded this document, we see the preview. How can we then go query it with depending on what our use case is?
Absolutely. So yeah, we have SQL tools directly built into the portal here. So we can take a look at the query tools, get an idea of which collections are available. The screen basically looks the same way as in our IRIS Cloud SQL service. So it's very familiar to those that are using that service. And we allow querying through SQL directly. So we've implemented the SQL JSON standard, which is an industry standard, and that allows you to map any dynamic structure to a virtual table that you then can use and query it like any other persistent table. So let's take a look at some of these examples, what this looks like. So starting off with something really simple is just getting a count on that collection. So what we're doing here is we're using the function JSON underscore table, which is at the heart of this standard, to take a look at the collection with the name inspection and expose this as a virtual table. And then we just use count star on it to get an idea on how many elements are actually in that collection. Executing this, we get back 1,570 documents in this collection. Now, doing something a little bit more elaborate on it, we can actually start to take a look at the contents of some of these documents. So in this case, we're just taking a look at the first 10 documents in this collection. And we start off with what's called the root of the documents. We're just saying, take a look, start off from the very top anchor of your document. We could also start off with in a nested property inside the document and have just a subview of what's actually happening inside the document. So executing this, we get back 10 IDs and pretty a massive amount of columns that we can take a look at and inspect and get an idea of the various data types that are in there. What's the values? Is it a Boolean or is it a date? And get an idea whether the data is sparse. Are there empty rows in there, or is it pretty well dense and populated?
Right, right.
And once we've done this, then typically you start off actually exposing certain parts of your document. So this is exposing the whole document, but it comes off with a way for you to describe which parts of your document you want to expose as a very specific column. So in the earlier statement, we've exposed the whole document as a default projection. But now I'm saying I want to expose 3 columns through the columns clause. I'm saying I'm going to name them the inspection start time, battery pass, and engine pass. They're all of a certain data type, varchar in this case, but it could also be a Boolean or a double. And then the most interesting piece is I'm saying, where do you get your data from? So I'm saying here from the root, I'm looking at the property inspection start time and the property battery pass. This could also be nested. We could be talking about arrays or sub-objects, obviously. Right. So if we execute this, now you will see we still get 10 results back, but now we only expose those 3 columns that we've basically just mapped in the columns clause, and not the complete document. So this way we can build very nice projections. And once we've done this, these are regular columns that we can work with. So I can also write a where clause saying where battery pass equals yes. And if I execute this, then I will get only results where the value of battery pass is yes. So you can see that this now is very easy and simple to use for anybody that knows and understands SQL.
Right, right. Yeah, that looks great. Very, very easy and straightforward to take this document structure and be able to, access it in this way. So kind of last question here, transitioning, this is all great and a lot of people will, be able to leverage just what you've shown here. But what about the use case where maybe developers have a more programmatic approach where they might be trying to use client languages and connect from their application rather than in this SQL portal or through a SQL client? What support is offered for them to be able to connect to the same data and leverage it?
Yeah, definitely. The portal makes it really easy to get started and explore your data sets. But if you want to build a real application, we offer client artifacts for Java and .NET to build your applications. We're working on libraries for Node.js and Python as well. So we're going to expand this. And it's really easy to connect these libraries directly with your instance. You just go at the details of your node, and you make sure that you enabled external connections. You can disable this or enable it, and you can provide IP ranges that you allow to make this more secure. You can see that you get direct access to your security certificate, and we give you direct ways to access your drivers and keep them up to date, and work with those. So that's very simple and straightforward to do.
Right, right. Yeah, and as always, referring to documentation and the links with this video will give you the most up-to-date source of truth on these drivers and the detailed instructions for accessing your document storage via the programmatic methods. So this is very exciting. Lots of great stuff here. Stefan, thanks so much for walking us through it.
Thank you, Derry.